Hello everyone. Welcome back to the programming mechanics series, programming robot mechanics. So let's continue where we left off. We are going to write some unit tests for the robot module. Right. And as usual, I did make some mistakes in the previous video. First of all, I'm going to fix them. First one is over here. We're just printing an empty string. Okay. Right. And this one that I noticed, right. This is not particularly a mistake, I would say, but a good programming convention. What it means is we should have an assertion error over here. Now, the other code without any assertion error put over here would also work. Okay. The without assertion error would also work, but since we only want to catch a certain error, that's why we are using the assertion error. Otherwise, all the errors that come through will be caught up by this. And if they are caught, like we won't be knowing what the error actually was over here. So it's just to filter out a particular error. Right. Did we? Yeah. Okay. So right. I think I've committed everything. Let's first test the string and representation is just simple, but let's just see how the string function is performing, like what is its output and all. Okay. So I think what we can do is we are going to have links, and I'll just add 3 links and we're then going to make a robot. Okay, and init link, we are going to pass a links list. Right, now let's see what the robot prints. Printing it before over here won't make anything print, but printing it after we have initialized the links is going to print something. Let's see what it prints. Okay, so link name, right. So we didn't pass any link name, so that's why it's empty, but we need to add, okay. I think this would work only with this one because the link name is in itself a very big title and it requires 2 tabs to really print it correctly. See, link name is empty and right. Okay, I got it. Like after link name, after that column link name, we require 2 tabs. That's all. Okay, now it looks good. Yeah. There are some like positioning errors, like it should be in the center and all, but I think we can ignore that for now. Yeah, this works. Now we're going to write some unit tests. What I was thinking in this, what we should be doing is, now since we will be having 3 test classes, I don't think it would be good to have all of the 3 in a single test class. Now we should develop a test folder that we can run, right? So let's do that. First, we're going to add a folder called tests, and we are going to put this over here. Now, one problem that we are going to face while doing this is we won't be able to directly import the classes that we usually used to do. That's because now we're in a separate folder. So we'll be fix that later, but first let's write a test, the robot tests. Okay, now we have test.py over here. Let's create 2 more files, which are test transformations and one more file, test links and a test robot. 3 files. Right, now in the test.py file, we are only going to have this, if name is main, unit test.main, and the rest of it, we are going to put it in the separate files. Can cut this. Okay, we can put it over here. right? And it's saying us to have some imports. We'll just do this. We'll have common imports and we will add some documentation related to it. Okay, this is done. And okay, now simply copy this as well. We have this, and in the test file we are going to import all of these, like unit test is required, and from test transformation import star, and from test links import star. Right now, if it is importing these classes and then we run unit test.main, I think it should run all those tests that are present in these files. And we will need one more thing, test robot, import star. We don't have anything right now in that, so let's close these files. Okay, let's start with the documentation. First, let's just have it from robot import robot, and from link import link. I think they should not work directly, as I discussed before, but for now, let's just work with them. Okay, we will need, let's just have this. Import unit test. Stop. Okay. Now there are I think, yeah, there are only these functions that we need to check: init link, init dh, transform, and forward kinematics. Now, what we can do is in the init, let's see. Init link, transform. Now, a way to check init link and init dh would be to initialize two robots with same dh parameters, one using the link method and one using the dh method. And then we can compare if the two robots have the same dh parameters or not. That would be one way of doing it. Yes, and right, that would be one way of doing it. And the string that they, okay, probably we can match the string that they output. Like, yeah, if the strings are the same, they would be okay. And if they are not, they would not be. Right. Okay, let's try that. Okay, self, and let's create two robots. First, let's create links. Okay, let's name it link 1, alpha equals right, let's just simple values. Let's just name alpha 1, a is also 1, b is 2, and theta equals 2. These values don't make any sense, but they shouldn't be making. Okay, let's have this link 2. We're going to have 3 links over here. So let's just copy this and have some variation over it, like we can have 2 over here and 1 over here. Okay. Right, link 3 and alpha, and all of these can be 1. Let's hit join type as well over here. Let's add prismatic. Okay. Now we will initialize a robot, a link robot. Links, and we will have DH robot. And we need DH parameters for this. For this, we need import numpy as np. Okay. Let's have np.array. Okay. Now, what was the DH parameter going to be? A alpha d theta join type. Now, there are not really any default values to the join type, so we need to add revolute. That's the. Oh, one more thing. The name is not going to be defined in this, like link 1, link 2. We need to see what the init DH is going to define them like. I totally forgot. Link underscore I. So it's going to start from 0. So we can also start from 0. No big deal. Just to check, right? A alpha d theta. That was it, right? A alpha d theta. Okay. A alpha d theta. And then join type, that is revolute. Since we have initialized, now we can, I think we can use the assert equal over here. Str robot dh and str robot link. Okay, now in order to run this, we may need to fix the import part, which we will do. Now we're in the tests and we will run test.py. Right, now it didn't have anything. Now a quick fix to this would be, we can do something like this, dot dot. What this dot dot is, it goes to the previous, the parent folder, and then it selects the file that we want. That's really a quick fix, and I think this will work, right? Let's try this. Dot dot. We'll just apply this to every file, and we don't even need link over here. So no linking. I don't think we need it over here. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need that over here. Okay. Right. Let's see. Attempted relative import with no parent package. Right. We need a parent package over here as well. So what this parent package means is, like in Python, when we are going to put files in a folder, what we need is a specific file by the name of init.py. What this does is it declares a folder as a package type thing. So a Python can do relative imports from it and some other stuff as well, right? So let's try this. We are going to add a file called init.py, and now we're going to run it. Like it can be completely empty, but the name should be init.py. Oh, it still didn't work. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't work. Let's see another method to do this. One way that I found to do is this, like what we need is, we need a Python path that can connect this directory tests to the other directory, its parent directory. Now I found that init.py is not working. I'm not sure why. I'll look into it. But one way to do it is we can directly add this path to the Python path, like from this sys.path.insert. So we can write it over here just for to test, to import for test. And we will be having this in test.py file where just before these imports. So the Python knows that this parent directory is also a part of the Python path, and it can search for these files when it's running these files. Okay. It does work now, but we have an error which we missed in the previous video, right? What we have is dh parameters.shape 1 = 4. Actually, the shape needs to be 5 because we are having the dh parameters, which makes it 4, but we need a join type as well. So that was the issue. Okay. Oh, okay, right. So the tests are working correctly. And this means that both the initializations are working the same way, which we actually wanted. Okay. Now we have the next function that we are going to test is transform. Let's see. For this, I'm thinking of having, now this, for this, we will need to again use the MATLAB robot toolbox to make the links and calculate its forward kinematics, like the transform actually. Okay, let's just have this same robot. Yeah, let's just have the same robot and we will go to determine different things about it. Okay. So I think we can fast forward through it because making the MATLAB is just a redundant task. Okay, so this is a transformation that we get. Now, one cool thing that I noticed in MATLAB is in MATLAB, you can create robot bodies that are not only sequential, but also branching. Like in this, we are deciding after which body the other body should be added. And this is a really cool feature, which we have not included in our robot, which we can include in the future. Currently, our robot implementation only allows for implementation of serial robots, like one after another. But here branching is available, so we can look something into this, like this in the future. So here's a transformation matrix. I'm going to copy it and then we're going to test it. So let's go. Okay, so let's test this now. Python test.py. Oh, so we have failed. Now there is some assertion error over here. Q.shape itself dot. Okay, let's see what the shape of Q should be instead. It's going to be over here. All right, let's see what it is in fact. Where it Q.shape. Where did it print it? Oh, list. Oh, okay. We need it to be form of a NumPy array. Right. Okay. This is one thing that we can look at. It needs to be a NumPy array. What we can do is we can add another function to robot.py that actually generates a queue transform. Let's just do it actually. Yeah, let's just try it. Okay. Like this is going to be right. Can get configuration like right. And what we can do is we can have right. What we need is something like this, like star args. What is this is we can enter any amount of arguments to it. Like we don't need to specify how much is the degree of freedom. Instead, we can just put in different values. If the length of this, if the number of arguments is not equal to the length, to the degree of freedoms, we can give an error, and yeah, something like that we can do. Let's see how we can do that. First of all, let's write some documentation. All right, now first thing we are going to check is we are going to assert its length. Now, when we use this star argument in our functions, this joint values is actually a list which we can iterate over. So if we check its length, we are going to check how many parameters the user provided. Now, how did we do that? Right, we can just check this. If it is not, then we can have an assertion error. Right. What we can do is we can simply generate an NP array just passing this joint value and then return key. Let's test it over here. Q equals robot dot get configuration, and we can simply pass this list 0.1, 0.1. Now, the cool thing about this is we can actually create lots of functionalities in Q. Like it can not only be a list, but a dictionary as well, which can be looked into the future. Something. Let's test it. Okay, parameter Q is of not correct size. It's still not of correct size. Okay, let's see. What should it be then? Where are we printing the shape? It's 1,3. Okay. All right. Just have that then. Cosine not supported for the input types, and okay, we need to look into this. This looks like an involved kind of error. Okay, I think I found the error. The error was we are passing a list to this function. Actually, we should not be typing it in a list. That's what we decided upon before. So that is what was creating the problem. I think let's just fix it now since we changed the length one over here. Now it's going to be something like length comma. Let's see if this works. That is working, the assertion, but we're still not getting there. Let's see what error we made. All right, so what I can see was, what we are having is this 221 0.1. This is actually the DH parameter that we're passing, and somehow the alpha that we're passing is coming out to be this string value. Now cosine cannot process string values, that's why it's giving an error, but I can't really seem to understand where this is coming from. But we can avoid this error. What we can do is, while we initialize the robot using the DH parameters, what we can just assign them as float over here. Or better than that, what we can do is in the link, when we are setting these properties, what we can do is we can actually assign them as float over here. That way, if any way we pass a string, then also this will be okay. So I'm going to do it for all. Right, rest of them should be okay. Let's test this again. Okay, now it's an equality error. Let's see what we have. -0. Okay, now the error is 1 something. All right, 0.9942 minus 0. Okay, so error is right. The error seems to be quite a lot. Let's see where we have this. Okay, after some cut short editing, a lot of cut short editing. This video is full of cut short editing, I think. But I think I found the error. The error is somewhere over here. Like when we are doing the transform, if we pass in a 0 index, then it returns us an identity transform. That is okay. That is what we want. And one thing that was over here, like this was the original, like over here, link index +1. We are iterating till this one. Like for instance, let's assume that we entered link index equals 0. Right. What if we entered link _0, link index will interpret, we will interpret link index as 0. Okay, that is fine. Now for I in range 1, 1, that will be 1. I don't, this loop is not running at all. Like there is no value inside it that it's running for. But if we put +2 over here, then this for loop will run for at least one time. And that is actually what we want. That is okay. Now the next bit of error comes over here. What we are doing is, like on passing this transformation for this index, we get that np.i4, like we return identity matrix if the index that we entered is 0. What we are doing here is we want the link _0's transformation matrix. Now, when we want that, we are actually getting link _1's transformation matrix, because this for loop for I in range 1. For the first time it runs like this. Now I is passed as value 1. Oh, okay. Earlier this was like this. Like it is just returning, it is starting from the first link underscore 1. So what the problem, what we can solve it is like index equals 0 is not really cutting it. We are not able to get any result through it. So what we can do is this transformation equal np.i4, we can just have it over here simply. And for I in range, and we can remove this over here. Now we can access every link through the index starting from 0. Okay, and then we can do this link index plus 1. I think this will work now. Let's just try it and let's see what we get. Oh, right. Now 3.0. Oh, what we have entered in the test is this link 2. Now let's enter link 0. And what I saw, right, link 1, because that is what we wrote for earlier. If this will work, it means the test is working, and it does work. So it is working right now. Now let's write now this whole part is working. Even for link 0, it will work. Let's just test it first. Let's just test this for link underscore 0. Now for link underscore 0, this should be the metric that we should be getting. Let's compare it with the value that we get over here. Right, this one is the value that we have, 0.995. That is okay. And you can check that this will now work, I think. Yeah, it is. It's almost similar to that. Okay. So it does seem like it's working. Let's just put a link underscore 1 again. Now let's write that last test of this video, pretty long video. I didn't expect it to go this long. For forward kinematics. I'll just fast forward through it because it's going to be really similar to this test transform, and we are just going to copy the values from MATLAB after this. So let's do this. Okay, let's run this now. Right, that all the tests are now working finally. Okay, so I think, yeah, we are done with pretty much all the tests that are required for this robot library, robot module, whatever. And we categorize these in the test folder as well. We will be working on putting them in certain folders as well in the later videos. But first, in the next video, what we're going to do is we are going to visualize the robot frames, which is going to be really interesting to see how a robot is looking through its frames. We will not actually be looking at the body of the robot because that will be a little difficult to code, and I have not really looked into it how to do it. We can do that, but let's see what we get in the next video. So see you in the next video. Bye.